If you want to be ahead of your competition this or next year, I've prepared my personal list of ideas and opportunities that I think could go really big in the next year. Some of them are actively developing today, some of them are there to come pretty soon, but either way, you want to be ready and start preparing today, especially if you want to succeed and be ahead of others. So before we start with the list, for those who don't know me, my name is Arthur, and I'm a senior software engineer. I also have my own agency, FindLabs, where I've developed many tech projects for other clients. I've made my first 100K at the age of 23, I've built well over 30 projects at this point, and currently I'm also managing a small team of 15 plus people. So without any further ado, let's jump directly to our list. So the way I think about technologies is basically I'm trying to understand the market by studying the trends and the way technology is being developed. And ideally, we use these technologies to make more money, especially for the long run. So I want us to go through the list of some potential ideas that you can start implementing even tomorrow and start making a lot of money in the following years. I think for a lot of them, I'll be doing exactly that. So you can subscribe to the channel and see my path. So when it comes to the trends that will be growing, why don't we start with something very obvious? And that is, of course, AI hype. And when it comes to AI hype, I think it'll go two different ways. And one of them is actually the rise of generative AI. So generative AI is basically what you can think of something that generates you text, images, audio, basically whatever can be generated will be generated with AI. And so the way you can use it is obviously for the social media content. Think about Instagram posts, maybe YouTube videos. So there are many tools that are already available on the market that you can, as I mentioned, start using even today. So the first one that will probably be really big in the next year or so is the rise of AI-generated images. If you use tools like Midjourney or now even ChatGPT, where you can prompt them to generate you stuff, that now is actually getting really good. So now you can basically even create the fake AI influencer and use many different tools where you can make lips move, where you can make him in different outfits, where you can keep the consistency of the character or the person throughout your posts. And most likely in the next year, we'll get to the point where we'll no longer be able to tell the difference, whether or not that's a real person profile or that's a fully generated with AI. So obviously the first one to keep in our mind is image generation with AI. So moving to our second thing when it comes to generative AI for social media content. The second one is automating videos. So there are many services that exist already today like Kling, Runway, and others that allow you to actually make your images go live. So the way it works, you would just generate an image, let's say with Midjourney, then upload it to Kling AI and prompt it to move in a certain order or something to happen in that image. You specify the length. I think most of them support about 10 seconds at this point. But with the future, I think it'll go up to a minute, 10 minutes, and so on. So no doubt that is the future. And if you have a product, let's say you can generate a cool trailer with it, or create your own AI influencer, then make your AI influencer promote your product. And that is just the least to say. And the third on our list is obviously graphic design. A lot of the times when you need something, it's not just a plain image, but actually something with a text, like let's say it's a Facebook ad, or a poster, or a logo. All of that can now be generated with ChatGPT or a pretty cool service called reeve.art. But basically you can prompt services like ChatGPT to generate logos for you, and it will actually follow your style. For example, if you generate a cartoon character, you can ask it to generate the same character, let's say now driving a sports car, and so on. But so what do you do with all of that in the end? So you have images, you have videos, you have graphic design. Well, obviously you can create your own content factory. So if you don't have your own business that you want to use for this to promote, that on its own can be a business. One idea for this is that obviously you start your own social media accounts where you just create views, like videos, let's just say, and later you turn them into money, where basically you'll get paid for creating content. But the second idea that you can use with this is to actually create an agency where you'll be able to create AI content for other businesses, where you would leverage all of those tools like image generation, video animations, maybe graphic design, all at once as a package. Maybe that'll be a monthly subscription where you manage all of their social medias, where they give you a little bit of images or some ideas of what they want to see, and you generate the whole content. Or maybe even if they don't have source for what to give you, just generate it with AI that'll match their product. So the second one is AI content as a service. So basically where you turn AI into, again, money. So those are the two things that I think will be getting big exposure. So be the first or join until it's not too late. So with that said, let's move to our next thing, which is again related to AI hype here. The second big thing is AI agents or using chat UIs. So you probably start noticing this trend that all the YouTubers are talking about AI agent this, build your AI agent with N8N and stuff like that. But what is the actual use for this? What are the actual AI agents? So there are three ways that I think that could grow. So the first one is that now most of the popular big apps like, let's say, Cursor or Claude, and soon to be ChatGPT, as the CEO already tweeted about this, that you'll be able to access your favorite tools like Google, email, maybe social media, maybe your Jira, Notion, directly through Claude, for example. So think about this as a plugins, basically where directly in the Claude, you just by using the web interface where you can chat with AI, and AI will no longer just be able to reply you with a text, but actually send you emails for you or prepare Google Docs or slideshow and so on. So basically, if you have your own business, you can do distributions around this, where you just plug and play some of your features of your online service through AIs. So if it's an online store, maybe you create a plugin where people can chat with your online store directly through Claude, and Claude will help them order products directly from you. Or if you're selling a course, maybe through Claude, people will be able to chat with your course and you have paid access. Or maybe you have a service that people can chat with Claude and he'll give them newest updates on, let's say, crypto market or something else. So that could be interesting. The second way that I think AI agents could grow in the next year is basically through custom automations. So yeah, you can use services like Zapier, Make, N8N, and basically create this custom kind of complex flows for other people. Let's say you come to some business, or if you have your own business again, you just optimize some processes. And why would you want to do this? Well, obviously, because that will save time and energy, and that means saving money. And if you save money for some other business, let's say if you can provide the proof that with your system now they save, let's just say 2 days a week, and then you multiply it by months, and then by, let's say, 3 months, and that could be your price for the service. So that could be pretty big actually. And most of the time, those services are actually pretty easy to use. And now even those services, they're starting to accept this AI agents on their background, where basically you can chat with the AI and AI will determine which flow to trigger. So yeah, that is also getting pretty interesting. So we'll probably see a big rise of that in the future. The third thing that I think will go pretty big as well is the rise of MCPs. So that's actually very similar to what I was talking in the first place. So MCP is basically a smart plugin that just knows how to interact with external APIs. And right now, Claude, for example, already supports MCPs. So for example, you can build your own MCP, basically extend functionality of Claude, people can install it, and they will be able to do other actions they were not able to do before. So with that, you can create the real AI agent, where basically you have native AI running on the platform, but now you just add like plug and play other features. So it's no longer just upload your PDF, or with your plugin, Claude will be able to pull video content, transcribe it automatically, summarize it, do many other actions, and then reply to the user with just one command that the user will provide to AI. So with those three, now then we might be thinking, what are the services you can provide tomorrow, again, if you have the skill, or maybe you can get the skill for this. So what I'm thinking is, what if you create your own agency that now provides service where you just create plugins that will work for AI, like MCPs, or some other integrations that will work with popular apps like ChatGPT, Claude, but for other businesses. So that could be pretty interesting. One use case that I can think of is, let's say there is a team of 30 or 40 or 100 people in a company. What if you create an MCP that will be a B2B model where basically a company will use that MCP to work with their tools? Like for example, if they're using Jira, if they're using Slack, if they're using Google Docs, if they're using Sheets, Dropbox, and basically you put it all together, and for everybody in the company now, they can just chat with all those services. Like John from marketing team, you can just text to this AI and say, what are the reports from the last quarter on this? Then somebody from the dev team can use it to say, which person should I talk to? Then the third one would say, hey, create a presentation for me about this and this, and put it to our work doc. So this is, I think, the opportunity. So I would call it B2B MCP creation as a service. So that could be pretty big actually. The second one is kind of correlated, but this is what a lot of people are already doing. You probably all heard about this many times. It's basically your own AI automation agency, where basically you use these tools like Make, Zapier, N8N. You come to people, you analyze what are their requests, you try to build this kind of complex systems. But I think the little twist that you can add to this is maybe where people will be able to trigger those scenarios or talk with them through chat interfaces like WhatsApp or Telegram. That I think could add the unique part to it. So now that we covered a little bit of AI hype, how about we move to the next things that I think could go pretty big beyond AI? So what are the next big things here? And I have a list of 2 here. So the first one is the rise of AR and VR. So for those who don't know what that stands for, that's basically augmented reality and virtual reality. You probably all seen those devices that Apple is pushing now, Microsoft with their HoloLens been pushing, now Meta, ex-Facebook is joining the trend too with their glasses, or Oculus. So there are many products right now on the market that exist even today. Some of them look more bulky, but more professional maybe. Some of them look more natural, so you don't look as much as a geek anymore. But there is no doubt that you'll have a lot of functionality, but it'll look just as like regular glasses. And so we don't know, for example, what the version 2 of Apple glasses or version 3 of their Vision Pro would look like. We don't know what Meta is cooking there in their labs. But one thing we know for sure is that they'll probably be bullish on this. They'll try to grow this as much as they can. And as you can see, they're already joining this master plan with, for example, iOS updates that is trying to look more as Vision OS, or with Facebook, where you can see that they're pushing these glasses and they own other companies like Oculus. So if we know that those technologies of people no longer maybe using their phones fully or laptops, but just wearing glasses as its own separate device, as like personal computer, where you can see the holograms in real time, maybe I think the one big thing that they should improve in all those glasses right now, they feel lonely. Like if you were to wear these glasses, there's no social collaborations. But imagine in the future where there will be 2 people wearing glasses, and if I see a hologram, the person next to me will see it in the same position and at the same time as I do it, so we can kind of create and see this immersive worlds at the same time. So I think at that stage, that'll sound much more epic than just using phones. And that's the stage where we'll start seeing some small transition going on. But so if we do know that this could go really big, and it most likely will, it is good to start preparing for this. What are the things that I think can grow from this? So obviously there could be a new market where more people will be wearing those glasses around the streets, like maybe in coffee shops, or as I mentioned, maybe they will no longer even use mobile phone, where that'll be their mobile phone or that'll be their laptop, where they can just generate a virtual keyboard. Maybe social media is on the one side, then on the left side there's YouTube. And all of the big apps that will slowly shift to there, especially if there will be like some technological bridge where it'll be backward compatible, where basically all of the old apps and websites that were working on PCs and phones will automatically just nicely work on those glasses. Then it's like a no-brainer. And so if that could create like a whole new different market where potentially the adoption would be as big as the phones today, then what you want to do is start planning the plan of what can you build today that'll be used in those glasses? What is your business that already exists maybe that you want to transfer and support people who are using those glasses and be one of the first? For example, if there will be like a bunch of nicely integrated apps in those glasses, wouldn't you want to be one of the first ones to have your app there? So that way, where it's like, imagine Apple Store, but now the competition is not millions of apps, but maybe 2,000 or 3,000 apps. And so the probability of you being seen by the Explore page is much higher. So I would highly recommend you starting to think about plans of what you can do if or when those glasses would be really big. And most of your clients will no longer use their PCs or phones. So for example, if it is a course, maybe you can develop a virtual reality course where people wear these glasses, where they have this immersive experience of going through your course. Basically, your imagination here is the limit. So the first idea here is create your own app or experience. And the second idea is obviously, maybe that'll be too late. So if you start learning about this today, you will be ahead of the market by far. What if that'll be a B2B service for other companies where you turn their products into the AR/VR world for those new users? B2B AR/VR dev service. So basically you'll take other companies' budgets and we'll develop some experiences, like maybe somebody wants to turn their course into AR, or maybe somebody has an app that they want to integrate, or maybe once there'll be like some other native things, maybe you can consult others on that, since you'll at this point study the technology pretty well. So those are the 2 things that I think are kind of futuristic and could go really big in the next year. So coming back to our list of other big things outside of AI, the second thing that I think could go really big is rise of Web3. So most of the people, when they think about Web3, they probably imagine some cryptocurrency or some maybe airdrops. Last year, you've seen the rise of crypto games or crypto memes. But what are the actual useful things that could go really big in the next year, and some things that you want to be aware of? The first thing is the online payments. So more and more people are now more educated about crypto, and more people have their wallets on different chains. Maybe that's Solana, Ethereum, maybe that's a Telegram wallet, MetaMask, or like a Coinbase account. But basically now it's getting easier and easier to connect your wallets to start using cryptos today. So what I'm thinking is that more and more people will be willing to pay in crypto in the future. And yes, we have services like Stripe, but there you would pay like 2-3% maybe, especially if it's international payments. Then the issue could be you having a registered business that can operate in certain areas. Whereas crypto, it's basically worldwide. And if you're using some chains like Sui, Solana, Abstract, the gas fees there are almost zero, like 1 cent or less per transaction. So for example, if your product is $10,000 and the transaction fee would be 1 cent and it's instant and worldwide, I mean, you might want to consider adding this to your website. So 2 business ideas around this that could grow big. The first one is actually adding crypto payments to your own website or your own business to save potentially on tax or commissions. And the second one is having this as a niche service where you create this for, again, other businesses, where you help them integrate web payments or Web3 payments to their platforms. So maybe you develop your plugin, or maybe you help other people install plugins and teach them how to use it. But basically that could be a service, because not a lot of people are aware how to work with this, how to set this up especially, and how to have the smallest gas fees possible. So that is definitely a place for some opportunity there. So moving to our second thing in the world of Web3 potential future, it is the token airdrop as gifts, collectible, or points. So what I mean by that is basically imagine now that your business could have its own cryptocurrency, where maybe when somebody's your recurrent client, you start giving them some percentage of your coins. Let's say for staying our client, like it's a SaaS maybe. For staying our client, every month you get 10 of our coins that are listed on this chain. And so, for example, let's say if it is a course and you start giving 10 coins per user every month automatically, the bigger course would grow, the more you can reinvest into the liquidity pool. And so their coin could also go up in the price at the same time as your product grows. So think about it as maybe stocks that you just give to your clients that could grow with the growth of your business. So that could be a pretty interesting idea. So the first main idea that you can build with this, either implement this in your business and start giving your cryptocurrency to others. So that's a crypto token giveaway as stocks or bonuses to clients that could grow with your project growth. And the second one is, again, implementing this as a service. So maybe it doesn't have to be your own app, like maybe a coffee shop. Imagine you integrate this with a coffee shop where the more people come to the same coffee shop, they can register an account and they can start collecting the certain crypto. Whether or not that's your own custom token, or maybe that's some other popular token that you can even give as a cashback. But something like this could sound pretty futuristic and attract more clients potentially. Or maybe that's an online store. So you can build a plugin or talk with e-commerce people and set up like a custom token for them, where their clients will be getting this as bonuses every time they purchase something. And you explain to them how liquidity pool work or set it up automatically. And basically whatever points clients are getting today, let's say 5 coins at that point cost $1, but once they wait, let's say 2 months and the business grows, now it's cost $10 or $20. So that could be interesting. So that's a B2B crypto token integrations as a service. So now we have it. In this video, I try to go through the list of some of the potentially interesting business ideas that I think could grow really big in the next year or even next month. So a lot of them are quite different, and I would recommend you choose something that probably sounds better for you personally. So if, for example, if you're more into SaaS business, then you would think about automatic ideas. If you're more into service business and you want to work with other people, then you can think about starting your own agency. But regardless, I think it is good to be aware about those things, since this is what is happening today on the market already. So let me know in the comments which idea you like the most, or which idea out of those could go pretty big in the next year, in your personal opinion. And I hope you liked this video. And if you did, please give it a like and don't forget to subscribe to the channel, because here I talk about other cool tech trends, build some tutorials, and generally share my path in the world of online business. So I hope to see you in the next one. Peace.